What's good, everybody? It's the Clown with Cab Show. NFL Week 6 was crazy. It was my worst week all weekend. Look, some of the picks I definitely got wrong. First and foremost, my Indianapolis Colts, every time I pick them to win, they end up losing. Vice versa, when I pick them to lose, they win. So I'm happy that the Colts got the dub. And Matt Ryan finally looked like the old Matt Ryan. 3 touchdowns, 389 yards passing. And that's why the Colts brought Matt Ryan in, was to lead him to that. Lead him to a different level, right? But the reality is for the Indianapolis Colts is, even if they do make the playoffs, what, you think the Colts are going to beat the Buffalo Bills? You think the Colts are going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs? Yes, I understand. We recently beat them, but I'm talking the playoffs. It's a completely different game, and I just think looking at it from a bigger picture, from being a diehard Colts fan, it's just the reality is we're going to come up short. We're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. That's the reality of it. But look, this is a good step. We go in next week into Tennessee, and if we win in Tennessee, we're in first place in our division, which is pretty insane, right? From week 1, from tying the Houston Texans, the trash Texans, then now all of a sudden, hey, the Colts could really be first place in the division, which is crazy. But hey, at the end of the day, it really started with Matt Ryan and Michael Pittman Jr., the star receiver, 13 receptions, 134 yards receiving. That's what the Colts needed. I just think for the Colts to get to the next level is they need another cat on there. They need another guy that they're going to go to all the time, like Michael Pittman. They need more help. They need better line. They need better defense. They just need better everything. That's what the Colts need. And I get it. This is a big win, but the thing is, it's Jacksonville, dude. Like, Jacksonville isn't the best team in the league. If not, they're in the top 10 worst teams in the league. You know, like, straight up. It's just, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, it's just like, man, dude, I love the Colts, but the truth is the Colts are not going to win the Super Bowl, but I'm still rooting for them. Big win by the Indianapolis Colts. I got that one wrong. And then one of the most surprising games all weekend was definitely the Pittsburgh Steelers beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I was completely surprised by it. I told you guys go money line Tampa. I thought, 9.5 was a little too much. In Pittsburgh, to me, it was just one of them things that it just didn't make sense. Even though I went Tampa, they just fell short. They really did. And Tom Brady, look, I think he is to blame for this game. There's a couple throws that he missed that he wished he could get back. He had 243 yards passing and 1 touchdown. Fournette, 63 yards, which I think Fournette's due for a big game. He's on my fantasy squad. Really hasn't done much recently, but I think he's really due for that one game. I really do. Mitch Trubisky came in, 144 yards passing and 1 touchdown. Chase Claypool, a Notre Dame cat, 7 receptions, 96 yards receiving and a touchdown. And that was that, man. Pittsburgh got the job done. They closed it out in the fourth quarter, and this was really a decent game. But when I look at Tampa right now with Tom Brady, it's one of those things where the reality is you guys aren't Super Bowl defending champions. Yes, you guys did win a Super Bowl back in 2020, but, at the end of the day, it's one of the things where it's like, hey, buddy, like, you guys can't keep living in the past anymore. The time is now, right now. So I think for Tampa Bay, I just think, what's it going to be? What's the next big thing going to come with Tampa? Because right now, I just think Tampa's kind of stalling. They're just kind of going with the motions and don't really know what to do. But I just think overall with Tom Brady, what he's going to do is he's the GOAT. We already know he's the GOAT. Tampa won in 2021 Super Bowl champions, not 2020. That was the Chiefs. But, looking at it, it's just, Tampa, man, they're difficult right now. Yeah, I want to say they're going to go to the Super Bowl, but right now, looking at Tampa, obviously they will not make it close to the Super Bowl. Yes, they'll make the playoffs this year, but I think looking at the bigger picture, this is a big, big win for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Shout out to Coach Tomlin. What a win. What a time. Shout out to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then we got the San Francisco 49ers versus Atlanta Falcons. Look, dude, I mean, crazy that I did pick the 49ers, San Francisco, because of their defense, even though they gave up 28 points and they played really badly. They did. Jimmy G, 296 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. You also had 2 picks, which I do think he really wanted to get back. But I've always been set in stone that Jimmy G, he's not that guy. He isn't. He's not. He's an average quarterback at best. He's not going to win you a Super Bowl. We saw that back in 2020. And I just think for San Francisco to get to that next level, they need a better quarterback. Just like the Indianapolis Colts, we need a better quarterback. It's just what it is, man. So I think for San Francisco, you got to move on from Jimmy G eventually. You got to. Marcus Mariota had a heck of a game, 129 yards passing with 2 touchdowns. Atlanta got it done. They won by 2 possessions, and really they were the underdogs by 4.5. That's crazy to me, right? But Atlanta, hey, shout out to Atlanta Falcons. I did not see this coming. What a win against the San Francisco 49ers. And then we got the easiest pick all weekend, in my opinion. I picked the right pick here, was the New England Patriots beating the Cleveland Browns. This was the easiest pick all weekend. I mean, really? You're going to bet on the Cleveland Browns to beat the New England Patriots? Oh, dude, you're crazy. You're smoking crack if you really believe that. You know, Bailey Zappi balled out over 300 yards passing with 2 touchdowns. And I really think Coach Bill Belichick, man, I think he should stick with Zappi, dude. He's that guy. He's that enthusiasm. He's got the energy. He's got the IQ in the pocket. So I think Coach Bill Belichick's going to keep Zappi. Why not, dude? He's been balling out, playing better than Mac Jones, dude. Like, seriously, like, really? Mac Jones, man, like, he's just uncoordinated. He looks overweight at quarterback. It looks like he can't run a 40 under 5 seconds. It's terrible. It really is. But, shout out to the New England Patriots getting it done. And really, another shout out to the Patriots is their defense, stopping Nick Chubb. Chubb only had 56 yards rushing this game. And really, he's on my fantasy squad. Did not have a good weekend. But, looking at it from Chubb's perspective is, dude, he's always consistently putting up points. So I can't complain and dog on Chubb, even though he had one bad weekend, like, whatever. But, I just think, with the Browns, they're trash, man. They are trash, okay? I'm not even going to admit that they're okay team. No, they're trash. They suck, dude. So shout out to the New England Patriots getting the job done. And then we got the New York Jets beating the Green Bay Packers. I cannot believe this, dude. This was one of another surprising upsets all weekend was the Jets beating the Green Bay Packers. Zach Wilson, 110 yards passing. Breece Hall, I told you he was the X factor here. 116 yards rushing and a touchdown. Breece Hall is a baller, man. Who would have thought the Jets would be over 500 right now? Who would have thought the Jets would beat Green Bay in Lambeau Field? Nobody, dude. This is crazy to me. I think Green Bay right now, they're playing soft. And really, when they got rid of Devontae Adams, I was like, dang, dude. What's Rodgers going to do? I mean, Rodgers, 246 yards passing and a touchdown. But the reality is for Green Bay Packer fans is you guys don't have the weapons, to help Aaron Rodgers, dude. It's sad, really. It's like you guys get rid of his favorite target, Devontae Adams. And what do you guys get in exchange for it? Like, really? Like, what is Green Bay thinking, dude? Like, it really bothers me sometimes when we see so much talent in Aaron Rodgers, yet they're not trying to help him. It's just like, really, dude, he needs receivers. He needs running backs. He needs star players around him, dude. Like, they're not going to go anywhere. And their defense is sus right now. Green Bay's looking terrible, dude. And I'm really surprised that the New York Jets went into Lambeau Field and really just dogged them 27-10. And I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers thinking, man, dude, only 10 points? The old Aaron Rodgers is putting up 28 points plus a game, dude. And this shit happens. I'm thinking, what is Aaron Rodgers smoking on? What is he doing? Is he doing the toad? Is he tripping on the shrooms? What is it, Aaron Rodgers? I don't know what he did this offseason, but whatever he did, I just looking at Aaron Rodgers thinking, man, dude, he looks like he's 50 now. like straight up, dude. It's like Aaron Rodgers aged, in the past 3 years, like 30 years. It's just like, holy cow, dude. But, Aaron Rodgers still a bad man. He's still one of the greatest quarterbacks that this game's ever seen. One of the most talented quarterbacks. I just want to see Aaron Rodgers get another Super Bowl. One Super Bowl is not enough for me. Trent Dilfer had one Super Bowl. Exactly. Who's Trent Dilfer? He's just a subpar quarterback on a great defensive team. So I think for Aaron Rodgers, man, start with the X's and O's here and just start from scratch and just say, hey, this is what we need to do as a team. This is going to get us better and lead us. I'm just kind of sick and tired of Aaron Rodgers complaining and just saying certain things. Come on, man. Like, stop pointing your finger and just say, hey, I'm the quarterback. I'm the head of this team. I'm going to take full responsibility. And let's go. Let me go into the playoffs and let me go to the Super Bowl and win one for Green Bay Packer fans. That's what I want to hear from Aaron Rodgers, but it's not. So shout out to Zach Wilson and Breece Hall in the New York Jets getting the job done, the upset. I cannot believe it. Shout out to the Jets. And then we had the New York Giants beating the Baltimore Ravens. Giants rally from 10 down, which is crazy. And really, I'm upset with the Baltimore Ravens defense yet again. Now, I just think, the Ravens, we even saw, I think it was week 2 or 3 against Miami in Baltimore, where they gave up, they were up 21. And they gave up, blew that lead, and lost that game. And this is another game where they're up and they blew a lead and lost it. I just think Coach Harbaugh and the Ravens, they gotta make some adjustments. And it starts with them on defense. The defensive line, the secondary, and then the special teams on forward. I just think the Ravens, man, you can't put it all on Lamar. Lamar, 210 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Kenyon Drake balled out, 119 yards rushing and a touchdown. Mark Andrews over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. That's average for Mark Andrews. Top 3 tight end in the league, no doubt about it. But the Giants, man, Saquon Barkley, 83 yards and a touchdown. Daniel Jones, a solid game, 173 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. And they squeak out the victory. I'm really surprised about the Giants. I'm more surprised about the New York Jets and how they're over 500 right now. But the New York Giants, man, they are surprising me. I thought they'd be trash this year, but really, they're playing nice. Great IQ, great team chemistry. They're all forming together, and I think this is dangerous. I think for the Ravens to move forward, they're 3-3 right now. I think Lamar, man, it's going to be interesting. Let's say the Ravens do make the playoffs and they lose. I think it's going to be an interesting offseason for Baltimore and say, hey, what's Lamar going to do? Is he going to go somewhere else and take that big money? What's going to happen? I just think for Lamar right now, he's in one of those situations where it's like, what is he going to do? You're at 3-3 right now. I still believe in Baltimore. I still believe in Lamar, and I do think they can make the playoffs and really run deep in the playoffs. They could be that dark horse team. They really can, but they just haven't formed the pieces yet. That'll take some time coming to the end of the year. I can't wait to see what the Ravens do, but big win by the New York Giants. And then we had the Rams man. The Rams, this was the easiest pick. The Rams beating the Carolina Panthers besides, the Patriots. But, with the Rams, man, this was just one of those games where it's like, man, dude, I feel bad for Carolina fans. I really do, dude. It keeps getting worse. Baker's out. They got P.J. Walker, only 60 yards. McCaffrey, 89 yards receiving and 69 yards rushing. I mean, that's really all they have. And I think McCaffrey, after his contract, he's going to go somewhere else and take bigger money because he realizes that, hey, in Carolina, dude, I'm not going to do much. We're really trash. We really don't have a good quarterback. We need a franchise quarterback. That's where we need to start, and they don't have that. They really don't. And the Rams, 24-10, this was an easy pick. Matt Stafford, 253 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Cooper Kupp, 80 yards receiving. The Rams, they're going to obviously make the playoffs. Can they repeat? That's another question, another debate. It's going to be tough. I don't see it happening, but, hey, big win by the Rams, even though you beat the trash Carolina Panthers, which isn't that great. And then we got the Minnesota Vikings versus the Miami Dolphins. Minnesota with the big win. I told you guys go Minnesota. Kirk Cousins, 175 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook, a touchdown on 77 yards rushing. And then Justin Jefferson, one of the best receivers in the league, 6 receptions, over 100 yards receiving. It was all Minnesota here. Yes, Teddy Bridgewater did play nice. 329 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. He also had 2 picks, which I think he would like to get back. Tyreek Hill, 177 yards. That's just Tyreek Hill. And I am hearing that Tua will come back for the Dolphins, this week after 2 weeks missing. I just think right now, NFL, it's a business. It's a they make billions a year. And I think the NFL, hey, two weeks after what Tua went through, I think Tua should sit out for about a month, dude. I really do. I think he looked like a vegetable. And I ain't really seen it, his hands like that since Scary Movie, dude. When that dude goes into the chicken at the dinner, it was like, what the heck, dude? Like, his hand was like, it was crazy. I think that might have been Scary Movie too, but you guys get the gist. But I hope Tua recovers and comes back for the Dolphins because the Dolphins really need him, dude. They absolutely need Tua 100%. So, for the Miami Dolphins, there's still some light. Big win by Minnesota Vikings. Shout out to Kirk Cousins. What a win. And then we got the Cincinnati Bengals beating the New Orleans Saints. I told you guys to go Cincy. Joe Burrow, 300 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. Jamar Chase, 2 touchdowns on 132 yards receiving. These two, Joe and Jamar, man, went to college together. They have this chemistry. And really, I could see Cincinnati making the playoffs yet again. And who knows? I mean, I know right now it's hard to say, hey, Cincinnati's going to run deep and go back to the Super Bowl. That's a long shot, no doubt. But I'm telling you, it starts with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. These two right here, they're game changers. 100%. They can change the momentum of a game in one play. In one play, that's all it takes. So I believe in Cincinnati Bengals. What a win. On the flip side, the Saints, Andy Dalton, 162 yards passing and a touchdown. I just think the Saints, dude, they're not going to make the playoffs this year. We already know that. But Cincinnati, I'm telling you, they will make the playoffs. I believe in them. I believe in Joe Burrow, and I hope they get back to the Super Bowl. That'd be great. That would be awesome. And then we got the Arizona Cardinals versus the Seattle Seahawks. I picked Arizona. I really thought Arizona would get the dub here. But really, Arizona's just overrated to me. Looking at Kyler Murray, it's just one of them things where it's like, man, dude, there's some plays for Kyler Murray. It's just like, why? Why do that? And Murray had 222 yards passing, but he also had an interception, and also he had 100 yards rushing, which is pretty well for Kyler Murray. But I'm thinking Kyler Murray should be on that superstar level by now. He should have been taking Arizona and winning some of these close games, dude. But it's not been happening. And I think it starts with the head coach as well. But for Arizona, man, it's just like, man, you guys are going to lose to Seattle. Shout out to Geno Smith, almost 200 yards passing. Kenneth Walker on my fantasy squad balled out, 97 yards of rushing and 1 touchdown out of Michigan State. I think, Seattle, man, they're nice. I mean, even without Russell Wilson right now, they're finding ways to win games. And that starts with Pete Carroll and Geno Smith. So, hey, shout out to the Seattle Seahawks. I did not see this coming, but Arizona, Kyler Murray, what is going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, straight up, Kyler Murray does not look well, dude. He just doesn't look good, man. He just looks average, man. He looks like Jimmy G in a way. It's just, like, hard to watch. It's one of the things where it's like, oh, man, dude, really? You're like, how are you going to do this, man? How are you going to do this to us, Kyler Murray? It don't make sense. He only plays well against the Dallas Cowboys. That's what it seems like. But big win by the Seattle Seahawks. And one of the biggest games all weekend was the Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs. We remember what happened in the recent playoff where Kansas City scored with 13 seconds left to win the game, to ice it, and then the next week they lose to the Cincinnati Bengals. It's crazy, but, this one was different, and I picked the Buffalo Bills because of Josh Allen. 329 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. In that hurdle he did. When he cleared that guy, I mean, dude, this was crazy. It was one of them like, oh, shoot, dude, okay. Josh Allen has arrived, okay? And I get it. A lot of people have him as MVP favorite, which I probably do as well. Right now, it's just like, man, Josh Allen is balling on another level, and it makes sense why the Buffalo Bills were preseason favorites to win it all. Like straight up, it makes sense. It makes sense why Vegas had them there. And Stephon Diggs, 148 yards receiving and 1 touchdown. He balled out as well. And Patrick Mahomes, 338 yards passing with 2 touchdowns. He did have 2 interceptions, and he had 1 pick late in the fourth quarter, and I know he wants to have it back. He threw it on the right side, which I think, for Patrick Mahomes, that's really, I think he should have thrown it down the field more, even take the sack. I don't like the interception there because it ices the game. It really does, but I'm not blaming Patrick Mahomes on this loss. I do think Kansas City needs to work on their defense a lot, but for Patrick Mahomes, it's like, hey, man, this is going to be the game that you're going to have to beat. Yes, he already did beat him this recent year, but they ended up losing to the Cincinnati Bengals, but I think Buffalo Bills, man, they got the advantage. I do think the Buffalo Bills will have home field advantage in the playoffs, which is huge this year, and they'll probably host, Kansas City, so we'll see this matchup 100% in the playoffs, and I can't wait, man. I think this is going to be a classic matchup, another high-scoring matchup. I can't wait, but obviously the edge goes to the Buffalo Bills, to the better defensive team and the better overall team right now. Yes, both offenses can score on anybody. I agree with that with Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. I mean, they're young cats in the league and really coming up, so I think, that's going to be great, but on the flip side, it's like, man, like, what's next? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is next for you guys? And that's a tough question, but I think for Kansas City, it's like, hey, we got to get better. We got to get better on certain things. We can't always hit the home run play. And that's what Kansas City MO was just, hey, we're going to hit the home run play every play. We're going to throw it down the field 50, 60 yards. They're going to catch it, and we're going to run for a touchdown. But that's kind of getting taken away from Kansas City, and we saw it in this game against the Bills. So what a game. I can't wait to see this in the playoffs, but shout out to the Buffalo Bills. What a big win it was. And then we got the Dallas Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I picked the Cowboys in this matchup. look, I thought the Cowboys would win. Why? Because of their defense. And yes, their defense did come to play in a way, even though they gave up 26, 27 points. I think the Cowboys right now, obviously Cooper Rush did not have a great game. Only one touchdown and 181 yards passing, and he had 3 interceptions. And one of the interceptions, I think it was his first one where he shouldn't have thrown it. I think he threw it in like double or triple coverage. It was just a bad pass. And I think they understand that. But looking at that, it's just like, holy cow. What are the Dallas Cowboys, man? They should have hung their hat here. The Philadelphia Eagles are the best team in the league. They're 6-0 for a reason. And Jalen Hurts, 155 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Miles Sanders, 71 yards and 1 touchdown. A.J. Brown, a touchdown. So Philly is legit. And it starts with the offense and the offensive line, and then it goes down. I just think Philadelphia, man, they play so sound right now. They're playing the best football in the league, and it makes sense why they're undefeated. Now, let's slow down a little bit and say, a lot of people are saying, oh, you know what? Philly's about to win it all. Go to the Super Bowl. It's like, chill out, okay? I get that. We saw last year, I think, San Francisco went undefeated like the first 7 or 8 games. We see this, and we see it often, right, in the NFL, where a lot of teams jump out quick to, a great start, like 9-0, 10-0. Even the Indianapolis Colts, I think back in 2009, we started off like, it was crazy. I think 14-0, something like that, and lost the last 2 games of the season here and there. Then we ran it all the way to the Super Bowl and lost to the New Orleans Saints, which I think we got outcoached. They onside kick after halftime, and that was pretty much it. They got the extra possession, and they won the game fair and square, which the Indianapolis Colts should have won. But I'm just saying that happens a lot. We see powerhouse teams play great in the regular season, but come playoffs, they will get tested. No doubt about it. They will get tested, so I can't wait for this. But, shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles, the only undefeated team left. What a freaking time. I can't wait for this. But the biggest game all weekend definitely for me was the Buffalo Bills and Kansas City. That was a classic matchup. We'll see this in the playoffs, no doubt about it. And I can't wait for it. I can't wait for this to see this matchup in the playoffs, because I believe we will. No doubt about it. And then obviously, the biggest surprise, one of the biggest surprises, the Bucs losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Jets beating the Green Bay Packers. That's probably the biggest upset. Those two, Pittsburgh and the New York Jets winning, dude, as big, heavy underdogs. This is huge, man. What a time to be alive. Shout out to my Indianapolis Colts getting the job done. They did cover. And Matt Ryan, I'm telling you right now, Matt Ryan has to play sound. This is what Matt Ryan needs to play like every game. This game that he played against Jacksonville, 3 touchdowns, no picks. This is the Matt Ryan that I like to see. The Matt Ryan that's reading coverages perfectly, that's stepping up in the pocket, avoiding getting sacked, dude. That's what it is, man. I'm telling you, he's got to do this. He's got to do this, so it's crazy. But in the Monday night game, in overtime, I just think looking at Denver right now, Denver versus the LA Chargers. Look, Denver, dude, I just think looking at Russell Wilson, man, it's hard to watch now. It's just like Russell lost it. I don't know what happened. Russell Wilson lost his step, dude. He lost his sauce. I don't know what it was, but it just doesn't look right, man. And I think the Denver Broncos, what they're realizing now is like, hey, dude, he's not the same guy, man. He's just not, dude. I hope Denver turns their season around somehow. I don't know, but it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It really is for Russell Wilson right now. I don't know what's going on. Maybe something personal in his life, kind of like what's going on with Tom Brady, the GOAT. Something personal, but hey, all that stuff right now, we can set it to the side. We mean business right now, but first and foremost, shout out to my Indianapolis Colts, baby. Let's take off on them. It's the Cloud with Cam Show. Let's go!